How are you doing, Keith?
I'm sleepy. I need a nap.
You're sleepy? You need a nap? Is it because you've been working so hard? Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Barely getting by. It's all taken and no given. They just use your mind, but they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5. They got you where they want you. There's
Can we start?
We're starting. This is it.
Not it.
Yeah, this is it. Why are you tired? Is it because you've been working 9 to... Oh, I'm on fire today. I'm zested up.
I mean, it's only 4:30. So.
I'm like a jar of lemon pepper. You wouldn't say that lemon pepper is zested? What's a spice that you would say is zested?
I don't know.
If you were to add some spice to a food to zest it up, what would you add? If you were a chef and you were working, what would you add to zest up some food? Okay, what are we talking about today?
Jobs. Work.
JOBS. On our little board over here, we have some little points. First point. What is the job that you wanted when you were younger? When you were a young tot and you would sit in class and everyone would go around and say what they wanted to be when they got older, what did little Keith say that he wanted to be when he got older?
Little Keith. That's actually what my mom called me when I was little.
Little Keith?
Yeah, because my dad and I have the same name.
Oh, that's true.
As Little Keith and Big Keith.
What did Keith want to be?
The one thing that I remember the most, like saying I wanted, was to be a geologist.
What was it about being a geologist? Is someone who studies rocks, right?
Essentially. I loved like finding different rocks, and I'd collect them and give them to my mom, and I just thought it was like super cool. Rocks were cool.
Is that why you have all these rocks around the house?
So
you have like stones everywhere.
But I didn't really even know.
I don't really understand why you have them.
A geologist was at the time, because now I'm like absolutely not. I would not want to be a geologist.
If you didn't know what a geologist was, but you knew it was associated with the rocks, like what did you think a geologist did?
I mean, I don't know. I was, 7 years old. I read a lot as a young kid, and my mom says I was very intelligent.
What?
No, I feel like I was a very bright kid, though. Just a bright kid who didn't really apply himself.
When did you stop wanting to be a geologist?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't know at what point it transitioned to like wanting to do something else. The next thing that really sticks out in my head was like to be like a psychologist or something.
When did you want to be a psychologist?
That would have been like ninth grade, maybe.
Oh.
So I don't remember what I thought in between of like what I would do.
I remember I wanted to be like an art therapist in like 9th grade, 10th grade or so. Why are you smiling when I say that?
Say the closest you got to that was seeing a therapist.
That's pretty good. I feel like anytime I say something that's like serious and genuine, your smile is like, and I'm like, what is it? And at first you're like, no. And they're like, no, like what is it? And then you're like, insult. I feel like that's what you do.
Well, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
Makes for good TV.
Makes for good TV. Mm-hmm. Is that all that we are, is for good TV?
Basically. That's what we're hoping.
And then I didn't really know what I wanted to be after that.
You don't remember like your next like thing in your head?
I feel like I was just sort of like going along with it. Like
how old were you when you wanted to be an art therapist?
Oh, you weren't listening. Shocker.
Tell me again.
I was like 9th, 10th grade.
Oh, geez.
I know. What? Why'd you say, oh, geez?
So, I don't know. That was like the first thing you can remember?
Yeah.
How long what about when you were younger? You didn't have like a different idea of like what you wanted to do?
No, I wasn't I've always been drawn to like art related things. And so I'm sure at some point I was like, oh, I want to be like an artist. But how long did you feel like you wanted to be a geologist?
I mean, it would several years as a young kid.
Yeah. I never I feel like maybe like there was maybe one day where I was like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do this. But I would say that like an art therapist was the first time that I was like, oh, I would want to like do this, and I wanted to do it for like an extended period of time. And maybe not even like 2 years.
So when you graduated high school, like, did you feel like that way all through high school? Like, oh, art therapy.
No, it was sort of like,
You were like, I don't want to do anything.
no, it wasn't even really like I didn't want to do anything. It was just I wasn't really thinking about what I want to do.
So did you go to college straight out of high school?
Yeah. So I got a scholarship that was a performing arts scholarship because my junior and
Well on your way to be an art therapist.
by the time that I applied for that scholarship, I did not want to be an art therapist anymore. So
It changed to a theatrical therapist.
oh my gosh. Keith, theater is therapy.
I was going to say that people watching you would need therapy after.
You're mean. You're on something today. I don't know what
I thought
it is.
you were on fire.
I'm on fire. I'm all zested up, but you're being like,
So we're not going to do the next point on the board because I have my own point to add.
oh, you have okay.
What was your first job?
Oh my dang it, that's what I meant to put there.
Bam. That's how good I am at podcasts. So what was your
You're-
first job?
You're just like getting all comfortable in front of the camera. My
I'm
first
pretending that it's not there.
you're like the sound of it focusing making it a little hard, but pretending like it's not there. My first job was working at a daycare. What? Why are you
It's just
laughing at
funny.
me?
It's funny to think that you
I was-
working at daycare.
I was really good. I'm good with kids. Kids are like, they think I'm cool. I'm fun. I don't take myself too seriously.
We have a
I'm
few here. We
creative.
should ask them.
Um,
Let's bring Levi in and we can ask him.
he would say, no, Matt's not fun, just because he knows that we're sincerely asking him. No, I was fun. I worked with school-age kids, so it was like 6 or 7 years old all the way up to like 15-year-olds. And there'd be times where I would have like a group of like 20 of them, and we'd have to like,
Do you remember every job that you've ever had?
yes. But I've also not had a whole lot. I worked at the daycare, and then I worked at the Civic Center, working in the box office. That I did on and off for like 6-7 years.
Are we to your last job yet?
You asking a question, then you don't want
I
me to
know, because
finish
you
it.
take forever.
Then I worked as like Smiley O'Reilly, and I was at the Civic Center. I did freelance work. Now doing
You worked at the hospital.
Oh, yep. I worked at a
part-time.
hospital. I was the doctor of love. When people are like, "Oh, are you a doctor?" I'm like,
You worked
of
the front
love."
desk as registration.
And then, yeah, now I'm back at the Civic Center, just working, doing my thing.
Out of all of those, what was your most favorite?
I would say that my most favorite is probably, I don't know. I mean, I liked all of the stuff for different reasons. I also worked at Target for a little bit, and I also worked at Best Buy. I would say most flexible was, of course, the freelancing stuff, because had a lot of time, but probably also the most stressful. I'm really enjoying what I do now, just because it is a lot of like community engagement stuff, and that's really fun, and I really enjoy that. Go ahead, give us your list of jobs that you worked. You better make it quick, or otherwise you're a hypocrite. You better make it quick, or otherwise you're a hypocrite. Yeah, you better get on with it. Come on. It was a rap. My dream job is
He
being
was never a
rapper.
songwriter, clearly.
MATTILICIOUS. Yeah. Yummy, yummy, in my tummy, good.
My first job, I delivered newspapers. I had a paper route. And then my sister ended up getting a paper route too, so then we delivered them together. And then my mom got a paper route of like the machines, and then we would do those too.
How long did you do that?
I feel like, I mean, I don't really remember. Maybe like a year or something. But I was like 14 when I started that. And then the next job I had, I think it was the second half of my senior year. I started working at a little department store in the town I went to high school called Alco. And then I left that job and went to KFC, which I had a friend working there at the time. So that's how I got there. And that was like a kind of fun. We always had a good time.
What was your favorite thing to eat at KFC?
Um, I would say two things. When they first came out with their wings, because we could make them fresh, those were so good. And then they had the Zinger wraps. They're like chicken strips and it was like special sauce and stuff on them.
Oh, that sounds good.
They were so good.
What type of like sauce was the Zinger sauce?
It was all, I think it was kind of like a chipotle and like ranch.
Like the Taco Bell sauce?
Not quite like that. It's similar though. And then after that, I worked doing like apartment maintenance. And then I worked at Convergys, is DirecTV customer service. And then I was a server at Cracker Barrel.
How long were you a server at Cracker Barrel?
Not very long.
Okay. Because you've talked about
like
it before.
4 months or something.
Okay.
I think my next job after that was Arby's.
What was your favorite thing at Arby's?
Favorite food?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
No, like your favorite thing is in like the forks or the napkins or the tables.
Well, I thought you meant just like favorite part of the job.
Oh, okay, fine. Point taken.
So I'd have to say at the time I would have told you a turkey and turkey ranch bacon, Marcus Fresh.
Yeah.
But I would hold the ranch and get spicy mustard. They were so good. I like those. And then they had a triple cheese and bacon sandwich. But I do the chicken. It had like Swiss cheese. And then they had like a Parmesan like garlic sauce.
Oh, that sounds good.
And then like some other cheese on it. And of course the bacon and the chicken. It was good.
Did you like working at KFC more or Arby's more?
I'd say Arby's.
If you could only
eat it cleaner.
If you could only eat food from one restaurant from the rest of your life, Arby's or KFC?
Arby's.
Really?
Oh yeah. After Arby's, I went and worked at the J.D. McCarty Center for Kids with Developmental Disabilities.
Oh,
I worked there for I think a little over a year, and I think that's when I started working construction and was building houses, and I did that for several years, and then went to nursing school.
And now you're in the nursing rabbit hole.
And then you start nursing, and it's like I was an ICU nurse, and then I was ICU manager. Then I did some travel nursing in ICU, and then I became house supervisor. Then I did some more travel nursing, some different house supervisor job, and then back to where I'm at now. Working.
And how long have you been nursing?
Ooh, coming up on 13 years.
That's a long time to nurse a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I said, how long have you been nursing? You're like, coming up on 13 years. Don't you love it when I explain jokes?
I mean, I feel like I have to explain jokes all the time because people just don't get sometimes my humor, or it doesn't come across.
Would you say that your humor is too smart for people to understand sometimes?
I think sometimes people just miss it. Not that they're not smart enough, because once you explain it, they're like, oh, yeah, that's funny.
So would you say that I am of the same vein?
Well, I feel like I have to explain a lot of jokes to you.
I know. But like when I explain my jokes to you, would you say that it's like you just miss it, and then I explain it to you, and then it's funny? But then like once I explained it, it's
parts
funny.
Of your like misfires in your brain or something.
The joke?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's misfiring in your brain.
Your synapses aren't.
You're the only person who has ever not understood my jokes.
I bet.
You are. Everyone's like, oh my gosh.
We'll ask all of
our
friends on the river trip.
And they'll be like, oh, well, it'll be because you're asking. Because people love, when you're with people are like, me and Keith are buddies now. I'm like, I've known you for 15 years and you want to take Keith's side on this?
And they're like, yes.
What's your favorite part of being a nurse?
I hate this question.
I know you do. That's why I asked it to you. Okay, fine. What's your least favorite part of being a nurse?
Nursing.
You're like, let me get out my Rolodex.
The people.
I feel like...
Patience.
Oh my gosh.
What's my favorite part? Patience.
What's my least favorite part? Patience. It's funny because I feel like, I mean, now that I am with you, I know a lot of nurses because you work with a lot of nurses and I know the people you work with. So it's funny because I feel like when people are like, oh, what's your least favorite part of nursing? I feel like a lot of nurses would be like, nursing. Like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I made the joke, like when I was asked for that award thing, they were like, what's the hardest thing about nursing? And what did I say? Like basically going to work.
Right.
And Yeah.
That was like what I
Or
meant
no,
by the
I said
sentiment
that
of what
they
I
said,
said.
"What's the hardest thing about nursing?" And I said, "Staying in it."
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they said, "What do you love?" I said, "The paycheck." Because at some point, that's really like what it
Right.
is. Because once you've been nursing for so long, you're almost like capped at what you can make doing like bedside nursing, and then you're just kind of stuck in it because you're not going to find another job that
Right.
pays more. So
Right.
it's not like you can just get out of nursing unless you're just really lucky and
Unless you're making a podcast and you have sponsors
and it goes
people.
viral and
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not putting my eggs in that basket.
I'm always a fan of putting my eggs in the baskets of my ideas.
Both for 100%.
I was watching something the other day and people were talking about, like, have you ever seen the show Undercover Boss?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there was this episode that I was watching someone talking about the TV show. Okay. And they were talking about this one particular episode where this guy who is the CEO of like a place called Bikinis, which is sort of like a Hooters style place, which they're not around anymore. But he essentially fired this one girl because she was talking about how she's not passionate about the job and she just comes for the paycheck. And she like had a good attitude. She was like a fine worker, but she was very upfront with this undercover boss. And she was like, "Oh, I like this is not something that I want to do forever. I'm coming here to get a paycheck."
It's a good paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
And he fired her and he was like, "You're just not passionate about the job. We want somebody who's passionate." I'm like, it is okay to just show up at a job just to get a paycheck. And like, it doesn't mean that you don't like parts of your job.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I feel like I am very lucky to have had a lot of jobs that I do really enjoy. But I feel like there's a lot of people that they go to their job and they are there and they get their work done and they're good workers. And like, that's okay if you're not just like living and breathing your job 24 hours a day.
No, I feel that. And you also left Best Buy out of your job
Nope,
list.
I said it.
No, you didn't.
I did, and I will play it back
That's fine.
right now. I liked all of the stuff for different reasons. I also worked at Target for a little bit, and I also worked at Best Buy. I also worked at Target for a little bit, and I also worked at Best Buy, and I also worked at Best Buy. Best Buy.
Okay.
I just played it back me saying it. So will you say you were right and I was wrong?
I missed it.
No. I want you to
I
say
already
you
said
were
it. I
right.
said, "Oh, okay."
This is a great opportunity for you
I'm
to
not
say
going to say it.
ever.
No.
You're never going to say it.
Never. And you know this about me.
That
and you're still here,
I
right?
I mean, I've actually got to tell you something right now.
What?
The joke was like, "Oh, you said and you're still here, right?"
Oh.
And then that was when I was like, "Oh, I've got to tell you something right now."
Yeah.
I've got to explain my joke. I know. Sometimes it goes over people's heads. Speaking of going over people's heads, because someone is so funny and they're a great comedian, Keith, what is your dream job?
Oh, man. I feel like my dream job, and it's probably something that I've always kind of been interested in. I thought it'd be really cool, like to incorporate some sort of like travel and like outdoor type thing. Whether it's almost like adventurous kind of like thing. Like just doing cool stuff, fun stuff, and like having like your own like little channel of like doing all sorts of different stuff, whether it's kayaking, hiking, amusement parks, just like fun stuff, but outdoor stuff.
A travel YouTuber. Was that your... Because what was the whole thing of you wanting to be a restaurant critic?
Yeah. 7th grade for like I think it was like some writing test that we had. And it's like, what do you want to be? And I think I put a hotel critic, restaurant critic, and theme park critic, all 3 of them. Because
You
you
can
can
just
travel
travel
around
around
stay
the
at
world
these
and have
hotels,
fun.
eat at nice restaurants or not so nice ones, go to theme parks. And that was your job.
That's honestly like a pretty good response to that question. Like,
Because then you wouldn't have to worry about a place to live, food to eat.
right.
And it'd be fun.
It would be fun. How long do you think it would be before you got tired of it?
Oh, for me, it wouldn't be very long. I should get tired of stuff really quick.
You're not tired of me yet, though.
I have something to tell you.
You took my joke and made it funnier. That's not fair.
Okay. Dream jobs outro.
No, what about you're not asking me.
My bad.
Oh my gosh.
I already know what it is.
What's my dream job?
Game show host. What game would you want to host? What's your favorite game show?
You're like, I'm going to pretend like I don't know you. What do you think my favorite game show
I mean,
is?
I would say Big Brother.
Yeah.
So would you want to host Big Brother?
Oh, I would absolutely want to host Big Brother.
That'd be
I think
kinda cool, actually.
I would.
They should hold a contest, not just to get on the show, but like to be like a host,
Oh.
like a guest host.
I want to interview Julie Chen when I'm taking her job over.
It'd be really cool.
No, I would want to. If it was a game show that already existed, I would want to host like Big Brother or some type of like heavy competition show. So not like a Love
Price is
Island.
Right.
I mean, that would be fun.
I mean, it'd be fun.
Yeah. I would want to work on one that was like some type of like Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge, something like that, where it's like a heavy duty competition type of thing, not like a love game show, reality show.
Give us your best Big Brother intro, like a host.
That's like asking someone like, oh, you went to school for music theater, will you sing for me? That is honestly the feeling I felt right then was exact. That's
what he would do on national TV.
That was exactly how I felt in that moment. That was ugh. Or I'd want to like have my own show that I came up with. I think that would be fun.
Do you have a game that you've come up with?
Yes. You Are Second. That like blends all of my favorite parts of Survivor and Big Brother.
Which you've actually played that with people before.
Mm-hmm. I have. I've hosted 2 games of it. I was thinking about it the other day.
You've hosted. Oh, you have hosted 2.
Because I hosted one before I met you,
Yeah.
and then I hosted one whenever
You're supposed to do a third, but there's too many people backing out.
Yeah.
Because they're lame.
Or like making board games. I think that would be fun. Anything where I would get to be creative, I think would be fun. I would say game show host. Probably because so when I think of like hosting Big Brother, if you've never seen Big Brother Canada, I feel like that is a similar host that I would be, because she's like really passionate about the game and just like the strategy of it all, and she really like gets to know the players, but she's also just like a fun TV personality. And so anything where I could like sort of like be part of something, because like in my mind I feel like even Julie Chen is part of the season, and like she goes along with the season. I don't know, I don't need to dive into Big Brother too much.
If you'd like to see Matt in sort of a game show host role, you can watch his Werewolf on YouTube.
Yeah, I would also The Traitors. I think that would be fun to host.
I feel like you'd be good at that one.
Because Alan, so like that, like yes, Alan Cumming is hosting it, but it's almost like he's this like character. So that like that part is fun. What about hosting like The Bachelor?
That'd be boring.
I'm just kidding. I just wanted to see what your reaction would be if I said that.
I have one more question.
Oh, I was not ready for this.
Where do you see yourself, let's say, in 10 years?
In 10 years, I don't know. Wait, is this like realistically, or like what would just be like a like if anything can happen?
Well, I wouldn't say if anything can happen, because that's too like out there. I would say if everything went right, what do you see your life being like in 10 years? As far as job.
Oh, as far as job goes. Right now, I would really enjoy to keep doing what I'm doing. I think that it is really fulfilling, and I'm getting to work with like diverse groups of people, which I think is really fun. I also think it would be really cool I've always really enjoyed like creating social media content, and so I would love to eventually one day be at the point to where I am making like a decent side income from creating things. Who knows? Maybe all of my social media content creation has led me to this. And we get to do this fun thing together. I'm reaching out my hand for you to hold it. Do you want to hold it for me? Oh, I got a finger.
Pulling my finger.
I would say that I will feel satisfied if I am in a place where I can be paying things off. Hopefully, Seth will be paid off in 10 years, because that's like, hopefully. I would love to be in a comfortable position. I would love to be able to have time and energy to do my own creative things and to do creative projects and to feel like I'm like making a difference with people. What about you?
10 years. Oof. I mean, honestly, like, I need to win like some money, like lottery, because 10 years.
Why do you get to shoot for the stars, but I don't get to shoot for the stars?
I mean, because it could happen. I just need to start buying tickets.
So my things of shooting for the stars can't happen.
I said if everything goes right, that's what I said. So I'm saying if I start buying tickets and everything goes right, I win the lottery.
What if I start auditioning for Big Brother and everything goes right?
Audition.
I can audition. I can win.
I'll take that too, because my goal is 10 years. I would love to be retired. I would, and then I could do this every once in a while. I could travel around.
Mm-hmm.
You could be at work and I'm traveling the world.
Oh, no. I would definitely say my perspective on like job things has definitely shifted, and I don't know. I feel very like satisfied job wise right now, and I've not felt that in a while.
Yeah,
so
I've just had enough.
We are at very two different places in our job ecosystem right now. But I think that you're a really hard worker, and I think that it is paying off. So
is it?
I think so. I think so. We'll do a job part 2 when you feel like, oh, yeah, it did pay off. You're like, job part 2 coming.
Okay, it's now job part 2. Okay, I think we're done.
You can listen to us on all podcast listening platforms, unless there's some weird one that is not like part of Apple, Google, or Spotify. So I guess not all. And you can watch us on YouTube if you're not watching us right now. And
well, I mean, they're not watching right now.
I mean, they're not watching. Maybe
but when
they
watch it,
right,
and you say now, then
yes.
It works.
Yes, we're speaking right now. We're speaking right now, but you are watching right now. Jessica, someone named Jessica is watching. And they're like, "What the heck?" That's right, Susan, Alexander, Justin. I start naming out names. Shout out to Justin. Okay, yeah, you can listen to us on wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can watch us on YouTube. Who knows when these are getting posted? We're batch recording. We got 6 episodes down.
And when you do watch or listen, shoot us a message, ask us questions,
yes,
or whatnot, and maybe we'll respond to you on our next episode.
I know. I'm gonna have responses ready for us on our next episode.
Responses from what?
I'm gonna have questions that I know people are gonna ask. So
I would rather.
So I just need to get them. No. I just need
you
to get
ask
the
enough
questions
questions
ready.
outside the podcast. You don't get any.
You're awful, Keith. Where can people find you on social media?
I mean, basically just on Instagram. I do have a TikTok. You can just search my name.
Yeah, but what's your Instagram stuff?
My main Instagram is KeithC_RN, KEITHC_RN. And then my polish Instagram or Nailstagram is MK_polish.
Okay. And then my Instagram is Matt.Herdman. And
Matt's.Manic.
For my Nailstagram. And then
I like that you say Nailstagram now.
I was the one that originally. I think I don't know. We're not starting a fight right now at the end because I was thinking about this the other day at our little award show we're gonna do at the end of the year when we get dressed up. One of our awards are gonna be best fight, and we're gonna have to review them. I know you're making this face right now. This is an outro. We're supposed to be done soon. You can also find me on YouTube at Matt Herdman. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast channel. Thank you so much for watching. You are acting like a little toddler. That's how you're acting.
Because I came up with Nailstagram.
I'm sorry, people can't hear you because you don't
That's
have a mic.
fine. I'm going to read my lips.